Hey everybody, I appreciate you following my YouTube channel and watching my transformation as I tried to put on 50 pounds in 60 days post shoulder surgery. So the big question is, did we make it? Well, I'm going to show you where I'm sitting at and how I'm looking today. It's day 60, so we're going to show you how I'm looking and see if I put on 50 pounds in 60 days. This is where we're sitting at. Hopefully we didn't gain too much body fat during this time. And now it's the time you've been waiting for. Time to step on that scale and see where we're at. $256. So we started at 216 60 days ago. Did we put on 50 pounds? No, we actually put on 40 pounds in 60 days. But we didn't add a ton of body fat. Could I have eaten better? Sure. Could I have eaten more? Always. That's how it takes to grow. This is just the start, but I'm super happy with the progress I've made post-surgery. For those of you who don't know, I had shoulder surgery, and this was my get back to where I need to be little challenge for myself. So we put on 40 pounds in 60 days. Body fat's not too high, so I was super worried about that I'd just be feeling bloated, feeling huge all the time. But now it's time to get even bigger. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you a full recap of the whole journey. And there's the big reveal and your answer. So no, I didn't quite make the 50 pounds in 60 days. Yeah, that was a little aggressive, but I like to shoot high for goals that are going to really push me. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that put on 50 pounds in 60 days and have it look halfway decent. I had a lot of questions coming from people saying, oh, is that even healthy? How are you going to look? So most of the time, as you saw a lot of my meals through the channels, I like to eat healthier food, you know, whether it's chicken and rice, mashed potatoes and beef, veggies. Those are things that I enjoy to eat. Yes, I did have some cheat meals here and there, but overall I ate relatively healthy. And so if you look at these photos, here's how I was looking at the beginning of this challenge when I weighed 216 pounds. You can see not a lot of muscle mass. Obviously it had atrophied from not working out for 4.5 months and pretty much not doing anything active and not eating very well. But as you can see now, sitting at 256 pounds, I'm looking a lot healthier and better. Even though it was an aggressive approach, I know that I had been there before. So as a lot of people call it muscle memory, you know, I had stretched out those fibers, stretched out those storages, so I knew that I would bounce back pretty quickly. And that's kind of what happened. You know, the first 20 and 30 pounds were a bit easier, and it got a little bit harder once I got above 30 pounds, because I was sitting at, I gained about 26 pounds by day 31. And so I'd only basically put on 14 more pounds in the next 30 days. So it got a little harder as I was kind of hitting my peak. Also the foods, as my wife will say, you know, she knows I wasn't eating enough. She was trying to push me and help me the best she could, but it got a lot harder to eat. I mean, and that's kind of how it will go for everyone. Is at first you're like, yeah, I can bulk, I can eat this many calories, but it gets a little bit harder as you keep doing it day after day. You know, you never really get used to it, because one thing with me is at first I was following a meal plan maybe for the first week and a half, 2 weeks. After that, I was kind of like, okay, I kind of know where I need to be calorie wise. My first plan I had written up was about 6,800 calories, about just shy of 7,000 calories a day. I know it seems like a lot, but after that, I was doing some filler things to help me get my calories up. You need to keep the calories high. So the biggest thing I took away from these 60 days is that how important food is if you want to, whether you want to, you want to get bigger or put on some quality muscle tissue, you know, this is something always people are saying, oh, I'm eating enough. Even me, I feel like I didn't eat enough, even though I put on 40 pounds, because that's what it takes to grow. You could be working out hard in the gym every day, but if you don't have that fuel, you're not going to build muscle. And if you're not eating the right stuff, you're not going to build quality muscle. So I'm pretty happy where I'm sitting at body fat wise. You know, I think it was about day 50 that I did a body fat test from IFBB Pro James Robertson. He had me at like 6.5%, and that was skin fold. I don't think it was quite accurate, maybe skin fold, but obviously, you know, especially when you're packing on weight fast, you're gonna have fat around your internal organs. You know, I can definitely feel it in my stomach. So on day 59, my wife, her coach had her go do an in-body. I don't really like those, but so I wasn't fasted when I did the in-body. I'd actually eaten, so I know that throws it off a little bit. And also, you know, your water, hydration, things like that, but that had me at 12%. So 6 on the skin fold, 12% on the in-body. I'd probably say I'm sitting in, you know, 10 to 12 range to be most accurate, but I was super happy. The in-body had me at 232 pounds of muscle mass. So, I mean, I started at 216. So regardless, we know we filled up, built back some muscle. So we're on the right track. The other thing I wanted to address is the workouts. As you can see in these videos, especially for the first 30 days, I wasn't really able to work out fully. I was really babying my shoulder. You know, there were certain lifts that I could do, but a lot of them I was just going super easy. I mean, we're talking for chest, I did, you know, 10 pounders. Next week we added another 10, then we went to 25s, then a plate. I mean, I wasn't pushing a lot of weight. That's why I had Jim train me, is because we were more focused on the muscle contractions and getting a solid workout where we weren't stressing it with a ton of weight because we didn't want to overload my shoulder too soon, too fast. But what we wanted to do is really target the muscle with slow contractions, time under tension, just really focus on building that muscle. And that's something that during this time, I really feel like I'm going to use a lot more in the future. Before my surgery, I was just into the reps, into the weight. I did enjoy to train that way, but it doesn't mean that's the only way to get muscle growth and to progress. So make sure you're changing up your styles. One reason I'm going to slow things down, put a lot more time under tension, is just the longevity of your joints, you know, your body. You know, if you're hammering your body with tons of weight all the time, you know, ask Ronnie Coleman and look at Ronnie Coleman. It's gonna take a toll on your body. You know, there are movements you can still do, but, you know, just keep them controlled, focus on that muscle without, you know, breaking apart your joints and things like that long term. Another thing that I really applied and that a lot of people don't apply is to switch things up. You know, a lot of people are like, okay, I'm doing this meal plan and I'm staying on it. After a while, you know, whether you're cutting or bulking, you know, you may get tired of certain foods. So don't just give up and go completely off the plan. Try and find substitutes and things that you like to eat that are similar, that can keep you, whether in my case, you know, getting those calories in, because I had to change up the foods because I was so tired of eating the same thing. Same thing with if you're just eating chicken and rice and you're cutting, you know, substitute it with maybe a different carb source, a different protein source, or, you know, the way you season it, the way you cook it. Me and my wife have been, I think we went through a lot of different ways. I think we started with air frying our chicken. We did a couple oven bakes, then we did broil or boiling chicken. And now we're kind of on this grilled pan grilled chicken, and it tastes great. And they all give it different textures and keep the food, you know, interesting. What else I learned through this is, for myself, is to keep the protein high, especially when you're bulking. You know, when my friends would talked about this, there's a lot of people want to pull in carbs and fats to get your calories up, but don't forget the protein, because that is the essential part of building muscle. For the last week and a half, yeah, I've eaten a lot of protein. I could do more, but I've had to switch that out and substitute it for shakes. For probably the first 40 days, I don't think I was doing more than 1 shake a day with my breakfast. So going forward, again, I appreciate all of you that have subscribed to my channel. I know at first I filmed some of my life. You got to see a bunch of things that I do kind of on the daily, and then I showed you some of my workouts. I know I didn't go into depth on explaining what I was doing, the exact muscles I was targeting. Also with my meals, I didn't really show you all the calories, all the meals I was eating throughout the day, because there were a lot of them. So what would you guys like to see moving forward? Stay tuned. I'm going to be going over a lot more topics, videos on my YouTube. So keep subscribing, keep liking, and I'll see you in the channel.